Hey everyone, it's Brandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my May TBR. Before I get started, I'm just going to say this is an ambitious TBR. I doubt I'm going to get to all of these books. So yeah, let's just get into it. I think I have almost 20 books on this TBR. Most of them are books that were on my TBR from last month that I didn't have the time to get to. I'm really hoping that I can get to them. I'm going to try to make those a priority just because obviously they were on last month's TBR. But let's just get into it. I don't even know where to start. Before I get into the books that I would like to read, I have already finished 2 books. So the first book that I have already finished is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This was actually a reread for me. And then the second book that I finished, which actually wasn't on my TBR, but I felt like I needed something quick to read after not really feeling too well, that was Jock Road by Sarah Nay. This isn't a wrap up, so I'm not going to get into my thoughts. Just to know that I liked it way more than I was expecting to. And yeah, I finished this one in under 24 hours. So yeah, now let's get into all the rest of the books that are on my TBR for the month. So this is a pretty mass heavy month for me, because I finally started my read through of the Throne of Glass series last month, but I am already behind. So yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I'm behind. So I have already started, but I haven't finished it yet, The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I was supposed to finish this one last month. I did start it, and I think I don't know if I got quite halfway through before the month was over. But my plan was to finish this on by Friday, but I got really sick like Thursday night, and it lasted through the majority of Friday. So when I would have been reading this, I was at work, like kind of laid out on my desk the majority of the night, so I didn't get the reading done that I had planned on. So I'm still working my way through this. I'm a little bit over halfway through it now. I'm in the 4th story currently. And then the next Maas book that I am currently reading is A Court of Frosted Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. As you guys know, this one came out on the 1st of the month. Everybody has picked this up, and I feel like the majority of people have already finished this. It's not that long. It's under 300 pages. I just haven't really had too much time to read it. I am almost 60 pages through it, I think. It was a little slow going for me, and I was finding that I was more interested in reading The Assassin's Blade than this one. So I read a good little chunk, and then I went back to The Assassin's Blade. So I think I'm going to actually finish that before I go back into this one. And then the last Maas book that's on my TBR for the month is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This will technically be a reread for me, but I decided to start with The Assassin's Blade just to get a little bit more background about Selena. And yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this one again. The next book that I have is The Crow Prince by Holly Black. I know you guys are probably tired of seeing this on my TBR. I'm tired of it being on my TBR, but this is, I believe, the next book that I plan on picking up after The Assassin's Blade and A Court of Frosted Starlight. My plan was to start this before the end of the week. Like basically today, the day that I'm filming this, I had planned to start this and kind of read it into early next week. But because I got backed up on those 2 Sarah J. Maas books, I haven't gotten around to this. But once I finish those 2, I think I might break it up with like a contemporary romance and then go right into this fantasy, just so I can take just a tiny break from fantasy. But this is definitely one that I am going to get to this month. So the rest of the books, I don't know which order I'm going to pick them up. These are books that I definitely would like to get to throughout the month. I'm just not sure when or if I'm going to pick them up. So I'm just going to kind of talk about them as I pick them up from my little stack over here. But the next one is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I mainly haven't picked this one up because I have a couple more fantasy books that I kind of want to read before this one, because I don't want to feel like those won't live up to this, basically. So I've been kind of putting that one off until I've read those two, just so yeah, basically I could give them a fair chance is what I'm saying. So I've been putting this one off, but I might just go ahead and read this. And also because of the size, especially with all the other books that I'm planning on reading, it's a pretty heavy fantasy month. So and it has been for the past few months, so I kind of been putting this off, but I think I'm gonna stop doing that and just get into it. I might possibly, I have an Audible credit and I heard this audiobook is really good, so I think this might be a book that I listen to the audiobook and follow along with, and I will probably get through it a lot faster that way. So I may do that. I'm not completely sure on that, chat, but I think I'm gonna probably do that this month. And the next book that I have is The Bells by Danielle Clayton, another book that has been on my TBR for a little bit now, I believe since February, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. The next book on my TBR is Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. This one came out, I believe, early last month, and I had it on my TBR last month, but as you could tell, I didn't get around to it, so it's one that I definitely would like to make a priority this month. I have heard amazing things about this book. So the next one that I have is Atlas Fallen by Jessica Pierce. This is actually a sci-fi novel, which is a change from all the fantasy books that I just talked about. But I think this is another one that I'm going to make a priority this month because I did receive the e-arc for a review. So I do want to go ahead and read this book so I can get that review up since I did commit to that. And next I have Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston. This is the book that I got in the March Outcrate box, I believe. And obviously, I keep saying this over and over, I didn't get to it yet, and I have been hearing more and more amazing things about this book. This is another sci-fi novel. And while I'm on that subject, the next book I have here is Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody, and this is the book that came in the April Outcrate. The next book that I have here is State of Sorrow by Melinda Salisbury, and this is the book that came in the March Fairy Loot box. And the last couple books I have are review books, and two of them are arcs. So the first one of those that I have is Beartown by Frederick Bachman, and let me take that out while I'm talking about this. I actually received a copy of this copy from Atria Books because the sequel to this book is actually coming out in June, I believe. I think it comes out June 5th. Before I get to my last two physical books, I do have two e-arcs that I would like to get to this month. The first one of those is From the Earth to the Shadows, I believe, by Amanda Hawking, and this is the second book in the Valkyrie series. And then the second one is Whisper by Lynette Noni, and this one actually came out on the 1st of the month, and I meant to read this one last month so I can have a review up by the 1st, but I didn't end up getting to this one. But the last two physical copies that I have are actually both arcs. One of them I won in a giveaway, the other I received in a past Fairy Loot box. The one that I got in the Fairy Loot box is Furyborn by Claire Legrand, and I have been seeing more positive reviews about this one. I've seen a couple negative ones, but lately I feel like a lot more people have been reading early copies and enjoying it a lot. So yeah, this one comes out on May 22nd, so I definitely would like to get to this month so I can decide if I want to get a finished copy or not. So I have this one, and then the last book that I have, which is the last book that is on my May TBR, is Lifelike by Jay Kristoff. So I don't really know exactly how many books that is, but yeah, that is everything that I would like to get to this month. I can already see that I'm going to need to break up this fantasy with some contemporaries within those. And I do have some contemporaries across all age ranges. So I'm not really sure what I plan on picking up yet. But you guys will obviously see that once I talk about them in my wrap up. But yeah, that is what I would like to read this month. If you have read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them down in the comments. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Bye.